All right, friends, we are live. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Sunday so far. We're going to be diving a little bit more into our CLI today. I'm going to try to make one of the different rules that we had from yesterday, and we're just going to kind of go and see how far we get. Hey, Lucas, how's it going? Yeah, we're on Twitch right now, so twitch.tv/JohnDouglasDev. Feel free to check us out. We're going to be working on a command line app that we've been kind of playing around with for the last few days. Offline, what I did, I'll not actually show people, but I actually found some good ways to make this table look a little bit more sane. So let's actually run through some of the things I did. Didn't actually add much. I think maybe like 2 or 3 different lines of code to make things a little bit nicer. I just kind of was looking and researching and doing some stuff. So what we added so far, and again, we don't have to dive into the whole CLI today. I got about an hour or so, I want to talk about anything that anyone else wants to talk about. So if there's an AMA or if there's questions or really anything, totally free game. So feel free, interactive as much as possible, and we're just going to kind of work on stuff on the side if we don't get too many questions. So the big thing that I added was you'll start to know that there's this new cool little, I don't know what these are called, like they're just ASCII art. So this current, I don't know, design of this CLI, I'm calling it dotnet score. At least that's what this tool is called, and that's what this whole project is called. And the intention of dotnet score is to score your Nougat packages, and then we're giving them scores based on validation rules. Dazvat, it's been a long time. Happy to see you on stream again. Hey, thanks so much. It's been a wild new year, but at the same time, I moved to Texas, so we had like the Texas winter storm thing happen last week, and then beforehand, to be honest, I wasn't really feeling that great, and I think that was because of COVID. I think so. I don't know. I don't really know fully, I guess, because I think I didn't feel good for like one day, but other than that, it was just like energy levels were like all over the place. So I haven't been creating lots of video content, but I have been writing a lot and working on my course. So yeah, it's been interesting because I've been out for, I want to say, almost 2 months now. So I can definitely see a lot of it's nice to see everyone again. So what we also did was we have this cool little table, and it's going to be hard to see because my head is a little bit in the way, but let's just kind of move it. We can actually reorganize it just a little bit, and we'll get rid of our BattleNet too. So, these tables don't look great when you resize them, so maybe you have to rerun the command and then it will work a little bit better. But yeah, so what we did was we have this new table. So we have a table for each different rule that we're kind of working on. So right now I'm working on all of the metadata, and that one's actually finished as of last night. But you can go and basically download any single package. So for this one, we have I forget what we have in this one. We just have some random package name that we found that meets a lot of these conditions of not a high quality package. And then we run through it and we look and say, does it have a valid metadata file? And we'll look and find all these different rules, like copyright might be missing, the icon's missing, and also they're using an icon URL, which is deprecated. So every time they're kind of like missing one of these rules, we're just kind of dinging points for now. And we're going to have to figure out a better rule set for how we're going to doing the point system. But that will kind of create, a score and a total score. And then the release notes is something that this package actually has. So it would be like 10 out of 10 because they included it. So it's kind of like an all or none for at least that situation. We have another rule too, which is going to be for like a README. So if you create a package for your project, you probably want people to know what it's about. So if you ever go to like a GitHub repository, any of the projects really have a README, which is like how to get started with the project, how to like an example of it, all that other type of stuff. But right now, Nougat actually doesn't support that. So we're kind of just putting some temporary code for now, which is just going to do the same exact thing for release notes, but for an embedded README instead. So we're just going to keep it as is, and then we're just going to kind of move on from this rule set because we have 4 more rule sets that we want to do. So another rule set that I have is this provides documentation, and let's actually just bump this up a little bit more. So I'll actually show you the code of what's kind of going on here. So I have this score service, and in this score service, we're doing all of our different rule sets and then basically creating the scoring sections for each one of those. So the Nougat conventions one is more or less done. I just kind of put this as a temporary, like, let's add that README file when we have it. And then it'll just add to that additional score thing. But now we have a few different sections we want to work on. So the ones that kind of stick out are providing documentation. So there's 2 things I want to do in this one, and I don't know how easy it's going to be, and so I don't want to like commit to it today for the XML documentation. But for a Nougat package, let's open up a guest tab really quick, and we'll just kind of like walk through this. So if we go to like nougat.org, and I were to look at any package, like AutoFac might be a good one, and I download it. If I go and look at this package, they're going to have all these assemblies and debug symbols and XML documentation. So whenever I download this package, I'll get rich IntelliSense within any of my code editors because I have this XML documentation alongside of it. So what I want to do, and this is kind of hard, I'm just going to put some like pseudocode in here for now, but basically I want 20% or more of the public API to have XML comments. So what that would kind of look like is the public API is going to be all the members in the assembly. So we need to get, first off, we got to load the assembly from disk. So basically we downloaded it and we need to use like the assembly class. So like we would say something like assembly dot load file or something similar, or load from. So that would basically give us the assembly context, right? So if I were to just load it, we can just kind of leave this as is because we will at least get it. So we'd say something like assembly a equals assembly.load file. And then inside of here, I'm just going to say a dot members, I think get members or something like that. I don't know. I forget what it is, or maybe it might be type or something. So we're going to have to kind of look through like all the different types that are defined in it. And then, maybe we'd say like var types equals the defined types, and then we might do like a for each var type in types. We might need to do something like basically type dot declared members. That's what I'm thinking right now, but I don't know what all we need to go through yet, because I want to figure out how to, like, what all can be documented. Is it just members? Is it methods? Is it all these other things? And so I don't think I can get that from the assembly. I think I have to get that from the XML documentation, because I don't think there's any, type of like XML, documentation from the types. So we would then say something like type grab the members / methods / etc. So what we want to do is we want to figure out, how do we read this XML file? So if I were to actually open up, I don't know if I can view the content of it. That'd be kind of cool. Probably not. So if I open this thing up in Visual Studio Code, I'm going to see all these different things, right? So what I was mostly interested in is I grab the assembly. So I'd grab that autofact.dll. Then I want to grab all the members. So as you can kind of see, it seems like only members are documented. And that's why that pseudocode is kind of like that. is because if I were to count how many member tags there are, right? So if we did, let's see, like member, we're gonna have to just say member, right? So this one looks like it has about 1,700, right? That matches just the one tag. It doesn't match the end tag. So we don't have to like divide it in two or anything. So there'd be about 1,741 members that are documented here that have a summary or some type of, documentation, right? So I want to grab this from the XML file and then grab the count of it. So that's the second part of it, which would be, we're already doing the assembly side. So now we need to do load the XML file from disk. It's downloaded and .xml. And then inside of here, we're going to need to basically do like an XML parsing of the members element and get the count of member children, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking is that's how we're going to do, or at least pull this one off. And then at the end of what we really care about in terms of documentation for this side is we just want 20%, right? So this should then just be assembly members from the types. Actually, I don't know if we have to go through all the types or if we can just go through the assembly, but we'll see. There's probably a helper method somewhere. And then we're going to divide that by the amount of XML members, right? And then that should equal the percentage of public API having XML comments. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm pretty sure that would be right because like, think about it this way. Let's just do like an example. Like if our assembly and all the types and the members of those types were documented, say we had, actually we have to do it opposite. Sorry, that's right. So if I had like 5,000 members total or something in the public API, and then I had XML members, right? If we had 1,700 with our example, that's not going to work. It has to be flipped. So we're just going to need to kind of flip that over. So that would be what we'd ideally want. So if we'd said 1,700 over 5,000, that would be, I don't know, like 34%, right? So that'd be 34%. And that would mean that validated correctly, right? So that's what I'm kind of thinking we're doing, at least with this method. So we already have a lot of it done. I got to figure out how I'm going to get the file, because the one problem that we're going to see here is that there's many different folders that you can multi-target your assemblies with. So we're going to have to go through each one of these and then do the same thing. So for each one of these folders, we're going to have to grab that DLL, grab that XML file, and then do that that documentation kind of dance. So we already kind of have a class that will let us do a little bit of this. So we have this context, and then we have this, I think it's in the package metadata, I want to say. Let me just, I don't think it's package metadata. I think it might be something else. I don't think it's in the newspec reader either, but we'll see. Yeah, it's actually in here. So we would say get content. So get content files dot. No, maybe not. I'll have to look at what I had. I had some. Let me find the code. So we're going to need a package reader, I think, which is a package archive reader. So maybe what we'll need to do is add the package content reader into as a memory stream here. And then that's how we get the new spec reader. So what I'm thinking is we should add this potentially into our package context model and see if we can do it from that. So package content reader, do something like that, and then package content reader, or just, yeah, that should be fine. So do something like that and add that in. And then when we're actually creating the package context, we're going to need to grab it. So it's that same idea, but we should have the object now to just play around with it. So we say context, and then we grab the package content reader. And then what I care about are the lib items here. So I care about this lib folder and then the items underneath. So I'd say lib items, and then, you know, what I might say here first would be like, I'd grab the first one. So that'd be like first or default or something like that. Just for now to see what it is. So it's going to need an actual string path. So this is going to be a framework specific group. And then this is going to be a group. And so this might have the folder. So this is going to have items in it. So the item relative paths, and then, or the target framework. So we'd probably say items, and then we're going to need to match this. And then I'd say something like where x of x dot, say starts with or something, or ends with actually, ends with dot DLL. So we're gonna have to work on this just a little bit more, but that should get pretty close. So right now it's still an IEnumerable. So we're gonna have to just go like this. Yeah, this is gonna be a really bad, ugly query, but we'll go for it. I think it's one more over, right? So that's kind of a really, really bad link query here. You can probably see if there's an easier way to do this. I don't think so. I think we can like barely optimize it. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to optimize it. So that's what I'm kind of thinking for now. I don't think it's gonna be perfect, but yeah, it's just basically saying just add the DLL part into the first or default, and that's fine. Okay, and then this side, for the most part, I don't think we have much more because we're not going to say first or default because we're going to iterate through each one of them, but we want to grab just one of them really quick. I don't think this will actually work. Like as is, because we have to download the package, but we'll see. So let's try it out. Hey Bria, how's it going? So yeah, so now we want to kind of call this method, and we also need to make the package context have that that package content reader. And that might be a little bit difficult. So I already have a method that I've been writing for downloading the package and then getting that archive reader. So what I need to do is I need to basically get this PackageStream and create this this reader. So this is going to be kind of where that new spec reader comes into play, and I need to create this MemoryStream based off of it. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to need to basically call this and do all that stuff. So now if I go to where I kind of am creating a lot of this stuff, I need this whole thing to add something into my context. So if I say grab the new spec or grab the metadata, we're going to have to add a call in one of these where I'm already doing that. So I don't do that in here, I don't think. I just kind of grab the resource. And I don't know if I don't think package metadata resource will be enough. I mean, we can look, but I don't think it will have everything I need. Yeah. So we are just grabbing the metadata. So the second one would be grabbing the new spec, and that's not going to be it either. I don't think, at least. Oh, this actually has it, I think. So what we'll do is that inside of this, we're just going to, actually right over here, we're going, I mean, the hard part about this is like, this is a little bit prone to like a memory leak, just because we have a stream here, right? But at the same time, I think I'm okay with it just to kind of test it out. So I'm going to say context dot packet content reader equals package reader. Now that should be populated, and we'll at least have that available for us. So now we can go to a little bit just honestly just debugging. So let's try it out. Actually, we're going to have to call that method, because we actually don't call it. It's just going to kind of go through. Oh, it actually does get called. Okay. So what we have here, let's just kind of double check in our context. We should have a package content reader, right? And inside here, we're going to start seeing all of that memory stream that we're talking about. So the stuff that I was looking into was we're going to grab the lib items. So the lib items are going to mostly come from this zip read, right? So we have this memory stream of all the stuff. And then this helper method is going to grab us the first item, and hopefully that it ends with the DLL. So I'm just going to run it. It's probably going to crash, but we're going to see what happens. No, I think it crashed, but we'll see. I don't think anything happened. Yeah. So can't access a disposed object. So this is what I was thinking. The reason why this wasn't going to work is because we had a using statement in here, right? So if I remove this, I should have at least more of a longer lifespan. So let's try it again. But the one thing we'll have to make sure too is that there's another using statement up here, which is to make sure that that stream gets closed out. Let's try it again and see what happens. So that one seemed to do something. So we are downloading it. Okay. I didn't want to dive in too much. I'm going to step out a little bit. I forget which, I haven't used Writer much, so I want to step over this, and I think it crashed again, but so the path lib mono Android is not an absolute path. So what it's saying is that when we're downloading it, we have the relative path. So we have this path right now, which is exactly what we have seen in here. We have lib, this, and then that, right? We're actually doing it on a different package, but it doesn't really matter. So we need a way that we can actually just grab the actual assembly from this memory stream. So we might have to do a little bit more code around that that method at least. So if we go back into here, if we grab the lib items, we need to so grab use reference items to get a filtered list. We're just gonna have to kind of see what this all is. So this is the item relative paths. So that might be why. I don't know if we can actually grab. I don't think we have any other ways to grab the full path. So we might have to think about something else, which is we might not be able to do this completely. We might have to kind of play around with something else. So We might just like have another temporary type thing. What we want to say is, let's look at the package content reader again, and then see if there's anything else that we can do that would kind of get us a little bit closer. So if I said get the content items, I don't want that because that's just a different folder. Package dependencies, I don't really care about that either. Reference items, so returns lib items plus filtering based on the new spec and other rules. So that's actually a little bit closer. So let's see if we can actually use that. And for the most part, that's just going to get us the items. So I think we might be able to do something similar. So let's try to replace get lib items here with get reference items and try that instead. So same thing, we're just going to kind of keep that, and then we're just going to try it again. So reference items seems like it would get us at least the lib items plus the other filtering, but again, this might still be relative. We might need a more absolute path of this memory stream. So I think this one is going to crash as well, but we'll see. Yeah, definitely crashed. So still the same thing, still the same idea, exactly what we're already doing. So we need to somehow get this, figure out where this path would be coming from within the stream. So let's kind of look at how we might do that. So what I'm kind of thinking that we do here is that when we're loading this file, it has to be a specified path on the disk. So can we load an assembly that just comes from the actual stream? That might be interesting. I don't know where we're going to get that, but we'll play around with it. So I don't think there is. I know there's a byte array that we can just do the raw assembly with. That might work. What else can we load from? Yeah, so we might be able to just load and then pass in the actual assembly. This one's going to be a little bit harder, so I'm going to leave it as is. We might have to play around with a little bit of kind of what it is doing here. So I'm going to kind of back up just a little bit and look at kind of how this works. So I'm copying a Nougat package to a stream. So it's copying that package to a stream. I have the stream right here as PackageStream. So I have this MemoryStream. So the question might be, I don't necessarily, this class is a package reader, but it's not the actual package stream. So I might need to pass in the actual memory stream to my package context. So I'm just going to try something else here, which would be down here. I would say context dot, we'll just say like package stream equals package stream. And then we're going to add, the same idea, but we might have to, be a little bit less safe with our memory, which is okay. And then we're going to add it here as well. We'll have to figure all this stuff out later, which is totally fine. So we'll say a memory stream here, and then we'll say the package stream, and we'll get it and set it, and then we'll bring that in. Okay. So now I have to figure out how to, so like C# load assembly from MemoryStream. This would be kind of the next big task that I want to do. So here's what they have. So I care about this one. So what I want to do is system load time runner, this blah, 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 load from stream. I don't have the PDB stream though. So let's see if there's another method that has like a single thing. So let's try this. And we'll go back into this code and into the, where was it? Was it the Nougat service or, okay, it's in the score service. So let's see what happens, right? Assembly equals system runtime loader, load from stream, and then can I just send in a single stream? So yeah, I can. So that'd be context dot PackageStream, right? So yeah, I think the hard part here though is that this might not be the actual, this is going to be a stream of the whole Nougat package. So I might have to figure out how I can break that down into the individual assemblies. So that's going to be the next thing. But if we have a method that will do this for us, that gets us a little bit further. Now we have to figure out, going back to our other service here, which is right before here. We got to kind of figure out like how can we get the stream of the individual DLLs from the package. So that's kind of where this next part is. So if I have a Nougat package in here and I have this MemoryStream, can I use the package archive reader somehow to get me a package, like the actual DLL streams? So we're going to try something, but I don't think there will be. I might have to come back to this a little bit later. So there is an extract files and a copy files. So maybe it might be something like we can copy the files somewhere temporary on disk, or we can just extract the single file that we want and put it somewhere else. Or we can get the files, or we can even get the stream and then the path. I don't actually know what this method does. Returns a string that represents the current object. Oh wait, no, I care about this one. So this thing isn't really documented of like what we get, but so I could technically just, say get stream right here instead. So I definitely don't even need this PackageStream item. So let's actually get rid of that because it's not needed, especially if we have it already in the content reader. So instead we would say package content reader dot. Oh wait, I thought we had it. Did we not? So let's back up then. If I go back into this, or sorry, this one, what was I working off of? Package archive reader. That's what I don't have. So I want to add that in there instead of package content reader. I still need the package content reader. I just need the package archive reader, I think. But do I actually get the content reader for free? Where does that one come from? Oh, I see. Okay. So maybe what I do instead is I can still get rid of the stream. It's just that in here, instead of iPackage content reader, right, I can get something that would be package archive reader. So it's a little bit different. And then we are going to have to update it. So now if I say package archive reader dot get stream, right, I now have access to all that stuff. But let's see, it has one parameter, get stream of the string path. So maybe that will work, and then I have to just grab the relative string path of what I had earlier, which I forget what we added. I don't really want to go back in history. I'll just write it again, but I'll say like the string path equals, I think it was context dot package archive reader dot Nougat reader dot get lit. No, it wasn't Nougat reader. It was, what was it? It was basically taking this and then getting we have the newspec reader, which is the package archive reader. What? I forget what it was. What was it? Package content reader. I want to say it was one of these interfaces that we used. Yeah, like package content reader, I think. So we're gonna have to like cast it over if we can, but if we just say like get files, might be able to get something here. So if we grab files, these are IEnumerable. If we said dot where x dot let's see, ends with or something, let me say dot dll, and then we grab the first one, actually I think that should be okay. What are we missing? I don't think that's gonna work fully. Oh, we were missing something. First or default. That should get us the path, right? Let's actually move all that code up a bit, and then we'll comment out the other code. And we'll just see how far this thing goes. So if I were debugging this thing, right? I'm gonna have that context reader grabbing all the files where it has DLLs in it, and then if this string path will work, then I can grab the stream from the archive reader. So let's try that out. So if I ran over that, it ends with a DLL. I have a feeling it crashed, but we'll see. Okay, I just want to step out. Okay. So it did work, right? So we got what we wanted. Okay, so now let's try that. We'll grab the assembly and we'll say string path for now. And then let's see how far we get. So really just if it hits that, that'd be cool. But it might crash, so we'll see what happens. Alright, so let's step over. Seemed to work, but the assembly might be null. So it still has the right string path, but I don't know if this get stream thing is working. Because I don't, yeah, we'll have to figure that out. So it might be a little bit deeper down. This operation is not supported. That's why. So deflate stream get length, load from stream. Okay. So basically load from stream, load context. I'm guessing this whole thing is just throwing. So we're gonna need to find some other way. Yeah, this is gonna be hard. Yeah, basically I have to app domain a simple resolve. Can we just try assembly.load? See if that will work. Let me try. Right? Because it should. This should be a stream, right? But we need it to a byte array. I just don't think. Yeah. So it needs a byte array instead of a stream. So we should be able to convert that pretty easily, right? I totally forget. Read to end, I think. Isn't there something more built in? Yeah, this is what we want. Oh, hopefully that's not the case. We're gonna need something. Well, let's see if it's even here, right? So I'll have a new memory stream, and then we would say this thing. And then we copy it to the memory stream, and then cannot convert the expression type byte to list. I'll have to think more on this one. So I don't think this solution will work well, because copy to, yeah, because otherwise I would just say that like MemoryStream dot to array, right? Which I could technically just do here or not. Well, actually no, because this is grabbing a stream and it's not necessarily like a memory stream, right? Yeah, because it just returns our IO stream. I guess read fully. Let's try something. Because we don't have a memory stream, right? Like, I mean, we technically do, but we wanted to get the stream from the path that we're setting, right? So we might say something like if the stream's a memory stream, so it's not, but we could technically just do memory stream like that. So that's where I was kind of thinking that we try to cast it. So we tried this, and then we say dot to, I guess we can't do that either, huh? Maybe we can. To array. So we tried that. I think this is gonna fail, but we can try. Yeah, looks like it failed again. Unable to cast of type deflate stream to type memory stream. All right. So deflate stream to memory stream. That's interesting. So we need to flush it. Or we need to close it. Okay. So we're gonna have to play around with this a little bit more, but we're about hitting that hour mark, and I only wanted to stream for an hour today. I might stream a little bit later, but just an hour here in the morning. So I think we'll call it a stream for right now. I'm gonna have to kind of grok this one a little bit further, but we already have a lot of the bits that we're kind of interested in. We just need to start to figure out what methods we really do need to use here, and then also how we can get that assembly to load. Once we have that, we're pretty much golden for this. The second part, though, would be the same exact idea, which is we need to grab a memory stream of the XML files and then use an XML reader. So that's where I'm thinking of trying to figure out at least the rest of this method, but we already have a lot of comments and pseudocode for it. We just got to kind of figure out the rest. One thing that we could potentially do really quick is we can do this supports multiple platforms really quick. I think that might be an interesting one. So how we want to do this one is I just want to do a very simple check, which would be, let's see, I want to create a new method for it, but I'm just going to put some of the pseudocode here. So the pseudocode here would be check manually for now for net standard 2.0 and net 5.0 lib short file short names. So this one should be very simple, right? Like we would say var lib folders equals context dot again, going back to the archive reader here, I think is what we wanted. Dot I guess I kind of got rid of, what was it? Is it get lib items? So I can do something like this. So grab all those. So inside of there, you know, I might just be able to grab all the lib items and then say for each var lib in lib folders, we would then say if lib dot target framework, I think, equals target framework. Well, actually, is this a string or what does this return? It returns a Nougat framework equals Nougat framework dot, let's see, a wildcard matching all, agnostic. We're going to figure out what this might mean, but we'll say parse, and we might be able to create. So a folder name creates a Nougat framework from a folder name using the default mappings. Our framework name provider. So let's just try to do the short names for now. Can I do that? So items would be item relative paths, or has an empty folder. We don't care about that. Let's just see what this is. I want to see what it returns. So var framework equals lib dot target framework, right? And then we say like framework dot framework, right? Like that's what I'd want. I want to test it against this, but I want the short name. Is there a short name? Get folder short name. So we would then say var short name equals that. And then also this thing, it doesn't like this. What does it need? Oh, cancellation token. So I'll just add a new cancellation token in there. So let's try, see if we can get through here and just, we're just gonna run this command. So what we'll do is supports multiple platforms async in the score service. So now we'll go back to our program. I think it's down here actually. And we'll have score package has something here, but we can just say, you know, var result equals await score service dot. So we're gonna actually have to make that. We're just have to call it in the, we'll call it in the score package method because everything else is private. So in here, I can just, I have all these different things being run. So inside of supports multiple platforms, I don't know where it is exactly. Inside here, it's being called already. So we should be okay to just debug it. So let's try that. Actually, we have to comment out the assembly stuff or else it's going to crash. We'll come back to that one. So let's see. Let's get rid of that one too. We don't need that breakpoint. Don't need that one. Okay, let's just continue on. So let's see what happened. So lib folders here. Results, items, and it had one DLL in here, it looks like. The target frameworks was mono Android, and the identifier is that. So we would grab the framework element like we did. So what was it again? Sorry, let's just debug these instead. Try it again. Just because I wasn't in the context of it, so I'd have to enumerate through it all. So the short name is mono Android. So that's what I wanted to do. So basically, if target framework dot short name, and we'll create something there. So we'll say something like, basically now we got to create the rule set here. I like to kind of throw them over into a different method, but really the logic here would be if lib.framework dot short folder name, right, equals net standard 2.0. Well, actually no, it's just gonna get, that one has version 0.0. Yeah, this should work, right? Or I mean, we'll probably want two different checks, but we'll just try this out for now. Net 5.0, right? Then basically I just want to say return, will not return anything. I'll just want to say, if it hits that, we'll say var t equals yes or something, just to test it out. So now we have all that. I want to try a library that does have this, that might have this. So there is an OR here, so it could be net standard 2.0 or net 5. I need to find a library that has that. So we'll go over here to Nougat. Actually, this one might have it. So this one has 5.0 and it also has net standard 2.0. So this one's a perfect candidate. So let's try that. So autofact 6.1.0. And in my program, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just going to switch the test. So I'll say autofact, I think it was like 6.1.0, and then we'll debug that. And that one worked. So let's just double check. Lib, target framework is net. So it hits that once. Let's see if it hits it twice. And then the other one should be net standard. And it hits it. So that works, but we gotta move that code to a portable place instead. Ooh, excuse me. So yeah, so we're gonna have to create a new method, follow what we're doing over here just to make it a little bit nicer. Maybe make its own service for this stuff, but that one works. That one's pretty easy. And now all we have to do is basically supports all possible platforms for 20 points. All we're going to do is just, we're just gonna give 10 points to each, right? So if you have them, you have them. If you don't, you don't. So let's try one more example, which is, we're just gonna go back to this and reset this. This one only had like one specific library, right? And then we'll run this. And it doesn't, right? So that one basically just ran through and it doesn't support all the platforms. It just supports one platform. So, okay, cool. All right, well, that is the stream for tonight, or at least today. And we might try tonight later on. I'm not sure quite yet, but we made a bit of progress. So thank you all so much for joining, and we will see you in a little bit.